the bug bit you or whatever.
Yeah.
There's something I think, and you know, you hear musicians talk about this a lot, but I've heard other people talk about it too, with that they found something early in their lives, and they're drawn to it, or something in their software. And I
Yeah.
really believe we're all born with software, and our
Yeah.
best shot is finding how to apply that, right? The
Right.
application of our internal software. But
Yeah.
you're interesting. I'm always interested, Michael, in the musical gift, which, for lack of a better way to put it, is kind of a right brain, very creative thing. But as long as I've known you, I've also known you as a recording engineer, which is
Yeah.
a whole other set of logic, reason,
Yeah.
wiring kind of things that go on in your brain. So how did you come upon, because I know you to be this passionate record producer, engineer. I've been in sessions with you and seen you are all about serving the artist that's there, in
Yeah.
artistic ways and also very technical ways. So,
Yeah.
what does that discovery look like when you go from garage bands to starting to figure out, hey, I might be an engineer?
Yeah. And again, the two kind of happened at the same time. Garage bands, you get your first 4-track recorder, right? Your little Tascam Porta
Ah,
Studio, and we
yes.
would make little cassette tapes in our basement. And that was the point that it was a whole different side of music, right? And
Yes.
for me, that as soon as that happened, that was the point that I knew, I would say without a doubt, that
Hmm.
there is an art form to solely what you capture. A performance is one thing, but
Right.
and I will say, the further on I got, I realized that I was a fan of records more so than um,
Ah,
the performance aspect of it.
right.
I there's many times I would prefer to listen to a record versus going and seeing that record done live.
Mm,
Just because of the sole art form of capturing that record. And
yes.
and fast forward to later on in my life, I think I was, got involved into to get through times when I was younger, put in the retail atmosphere. And I was taught early on and mentored early on by people within the industry that I was working in at the time that I knew nothing about. And an important lesson always stuck with me: it's treat everyone like you would treat your mother.
Wow.
And that applies, I feel like, um, from a service standpoint. It's stuck with me, uh, since then. So,
Wow. Well,
so
I just want to
it's
tell, I mean, folks, you need to know, yes, Michael is a friend of mine, but this guy is one of the nicest, most humble, egoless people. And when you're in a studio environment, it can get crazy, right? I mean, and there's always pressure, whether you want to admit it or not.
yes.
There's pressure,
There's
and you're
always
trying
pressure.
to. I like how Martin Scorsese said it. You're trying to bottle lightning,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so but then there's all the connections. Is all the plumbing together? Are the mics working? Is the compress?
Yeah.
So that's it. I love talking to people where those gifts came together, where the artistic side, and you're both. In fact, folks, something that Michael does, he's kind of a one man shop, and I mean that in the best way. Artists hire him, and he plays all the instruments: drums, bass, electric guitar, keyboards, whatever it takes. He brings the singer in, they sing a vocal, he mixes it, in many cases masters it, and just he creates these amazing experiences, 3 to 4 minute experiences and by the way, we'll put links to a lot of his music and the music that he's produced in the show notes. But I think I'm seeing in your story how I totally remember the four tracks. So you became the guy, am I right, that was the engineer in the garage band?
Yeah. I mean, me and my buddies were, and but you know, we went to different studios at a certain point when we realized that, okay, this sounds different. We're trying our hardest. This sounds different than what's coming out of a studio, you know? So then you go to the studio and learn, wow, okay, now this is a whole other level of, you know,
right.
all the tools are here now. Right. So,
right.
so then began the love of realizing which tools did what and what things made what sounds.
Wow.